Hi everybody, here's my bucket build. Now these are my pepper buckets, and these are 2-gallon bakery buckets. You can grow peppers in bigger buckets if you want to. I've been growing them in 2 to 2.5-gallon buckets for the last few years. So what you need is you need 2 half-inch 90s. You need some half-inch PVC pipes, and I will show you the cutters after we get done. You also need a 25mm hole saw, and that's a 1-inch hole saw. You need some kind of drill, and you also need a Sharpie or something to mark with, and you need your rings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I make a cheat stick, so I don't want to have to use my measuring every time. So I make a cheat stick, which you just set your finger right on the bottom and 2.5 inches up on the top, and that is your middle hole. So that's where your drill bit right here, that drill bit's going to touch. So I just make a dot. So what that theoretically does when you have your tube inside is, if you look, the top, you're just a little bit off the bottom. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but you're just about a 1/4 inch off the bottom. So the water can go up into here and turn, but once it loses its suction, you'll have a little bit of flow left in the bottom for your plants. So you want it on drill setting if you're using a multi-speed drill. You're going to put your drill part and you're going to go forward on your drill, but you don't want to grab the teeth. You want to go backwards on the teeth. So the hole that you're going to make is straight down, and it's plastic, so you don't have to push hard, and you're just making the pilot hole. Okay, now see how I stop? Now we're going to go backwards, and you're going to hold your bucket and go backwards. When you go backwards on plastic, it gives you a really good, clean cut. So the only part that's not clean is right here. I got my razor blade here. And what you're going to do is be very careful, and you're just going to take a sharp razor blade. You don't want to gouge, you just want to take that off. Now you can use a piece of sandpaper too, which works. That also works as a piece of sandpaper. I just use a razor blade, and I just stay flat and just barely take the ream off of it, just so that you're going to get a good seal with your ring. I'm smooth all the way around. Okay. So now all we do is we take our ring. Now these 2.5-gallon or 2 to 2.5-gallon buckets are not as thick walled as the 5-gallon buckets, of course, because they don't need to be, because they're not holding that much. So be very careful, and you really want to make sure that this gets seated really, really good. For this next part, you need about a 3.5 to 4-inch piece of 1/2-inch PVC. Now that's going to get put in here. You're going to have a 90 on this side and 90 on the inside. So again, what I did was I took my popsicle stick and I measured out 3.5 inches. And then so I'm going to take my marker, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches, and then go on this side and mark another 3.5 inches. You can either take a hacksaw and cut this, or you can get a pair of cutters, and these were only like $5 at the store. So they ratchet down, and you just put your mark, and then you just squeeze, and it's very quick. And I mean, my hands aren't real strong, but I'm having no problem with it. So you just hold it and click, and then when you get better at it, you don't even have to mark them. You can just kind of guess at them and then grab it and go. Okay, so we have our pieces. Get a couple more. Now the easy thing that I have found is I put my first 90 on, and then I, just like building the other buckets, a little bit of soapy water. Now remember, the smaller buckets are very, very flimsy, so you really have to make sure your hand is behind this and pushing on the gasket so that it does not collapse the bucket. Make sure that the bucket is sitting down. Grab another 90. You can see how far it went in on the inside. And make sure this one is sitting down. So what you have is you have it outside looking like this, and then the inside looks exactly like this, but inside the bucket.